What is up? What is good? What is new? Dope. Now, I think the best quote I ever heard about exams is that students look up for inspiration, down in desperation, and left and right for information. Now, side note, I don't condone cheating because, you will get caught and then you will fail. But anyway, I digress. Now, exams suck. But for some stupid reason, we still have to write them. So these are the following stages that we go through when writing exams. Here we go. Stage 1. This is the pre-death or the waiting for death stage, as I like to see it. Now, this is probably maybe an hour, half an hour before you're writing your exam. You get to school and you're pumped, you're ready, and you study. You study the crap out of this information. You know it like the back of your hand. You're pumped, you're ready to destroy this paper. You get to school and you see some of your friends, so you start talking, and naturally things that were going to be on the exam come up. Then your mate starts talking, and they're talking about something you have no clue about, and they're in the same class as you. They're about to write the same exam as you, but you don't know what they're talking about. You start to panic a little bit. Now, this is really when you have entered the waiting for death stage, because now at this point, you realize there's a little bit of stuff that you don't know, and that makes this exam a little bit more terrifying to write, which is understandable, because now your brain is telling you, hold up, homie, you don't actually know as much as you think you did when you walked into that door. Who is this fool interrupting my video? The pre-death stage, and now you're pretty comfortably set into that stage, because you realize that you don't know as much as you thought you did. Now, then you enter the death stage, which is stage 2. Now, this is most likely when you're sitting in the exam hall, the exam room, however you write exams, and you see the paper in front of you. Maybe there's a Scantron, multiple choice, multiple booklets, however this exam is laid out, and you start to get a little nervous, and you do a little prayer in your head because you're like, I need to pass this exam, I don't want to fail because I can't, because I need to pass the class. So you're sitting there and you're panicking a little bit, and you're maybe fiddling with your pencil or your pen or whatever. And then the examiner person, whatever person's watching over your exam, says, okay, you may open your booklets. You go ahead and you open your booklet, and you're like, okay, I know this. You look at the question, I don't know this. You don't know the answer to the first question. Now, when that happens on an exam, you start to panic because you're like, oh my God, what is this? When did we learn this? Then you start looking left and right to see if other people are having, the same thing. If you can see their facial expressions, maybe they're just as confused as you are. But 90% of the chances they're rushing through that exam, they're writing or they're filling in little circles and they're doing just fine. So then you feel a little bit more stupid because you're like, wait, why am I not like that person? They're doing well. Anyway, then you're caught up in your little thought bubble, and by the time you're caught up in your little thought bubble thinking of how many questions you don't know the answer to on the exam, you have fully entered the death stage. Now, the death stage gets certainly worse when or if your teacher or examiner who is looking over this exam starts to walk up and down the rows that have been made for the students to write their exams. They're just checking if you need help, if you ask a question, whatever. But for you, this feels like someone's about to shoot you in the head. So out of your peripheral vision, you can see them getting closer to your desk, and so you're like, oh my God, 20 minutes have passed on the clock. I only have an hour left to write this exam. Nothing is on my paper. This person thinks I'm an idiot. So as you see them getting closer, you're like, okay, we need to write something. So you bring out your pen and you're like, okay, first question. Maybe it's, what is the role of mitosis in cell division? And you're like, you've blanked. You do not know the answer, but you're like, okay, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and vacuoles provide you are BSing the F out of this question. But that is okay, because you're getting something down, and that lady doesn't think, and she doesn't know that you don't know what you're writing until she stops. And when they stop and kind of stare at your paper, you get uncomfortable because you know what you're writing makes no sense, and they know what you're writing makes no sense. Now, after the time is finished for your exam, you are fully entering now the after death stage. You've written the exam, it killed you, you died. You are no longer living, but you finished it, and that's all that matters. You answered every question, you're out of that exam hall like that. Then you see your mate and you're like, okay, yeah, it went well. And they're like, oh, how'd it go? And they said it went great. So you're over here like, oh, yeah, it was easy. I mean, I knew every answer. It wasn't hard at all. Lies. But then they start discussing the questions. This is where you get nervous. This is truly the after-death situation. They're talking about an answer that you felt hella confident about. Let's say, question 2, the answer was B. Okay, you put C. Alright, I'm super... Yo, Jim, the answer was C, right? No, it was B. What? No, it was C. B, C. You ask 4 or 5 other people, they all say the answer was B. Now, this sucks, because you're super confident and you thought you had that question right, but you didn't. And now everyone just thinks you're stupid because you were hella confident that you had the right answer. Now, the after exam stage sucks because you thought you did really well and you're happy with what you did, but then you start talking to other people and you realize none of your answers are matching up. This is just as uncomfortable for you as it is for the person that you're talking to, because they're going through the exact same thing. They're like, oh my god, they got the right answer, I didn't. You'll never know until you get to see your exam whether you did get the right answer or not, but nonetheless, it's just equally as stressful. Anyway, exams are something we all have to go through during school, and unfortunately there is literally no way out of them unless you actually are dying. So if you've written your exams or you're about to go write your exams, remember to study hard, and you'll study hard, believe in yourself, and you'll do well. And if you liked that video, please like, comment, and hit that subscribe button, and remember to follow along because I'll be vlogging here.